Did you think it was a bit of a weird move when Chelsea appointed Enzo Maresca as manager?
I thought it was slightly atypical, slightly weird, yeah.
Slightly weird.
Yeah.
Well, we now have our answers as to why they went with Enzo Maresca. And it's nothing to do with his time working under Pep Guardiola. It's nothing to do with his achievements at Leicester City. We've got the answers, mate. Kieran Dewsbury Hall.
It's to do with superstar signings, isn't it? You know,
Wait,
that's the level.
Dewsbury was it? I just said.
KDH.
KDH.
We just call him KDH.
The best KD anything in the Premier League now. So step aside Kevin De Bruyne, Kieran Dewsbury Hall.
He could be parting ways from the Premier League very soon, couldn't he? Big Kev. Kevin De Bruyne.
Can he?
Yeah, he could be off. Saudi, apparently.
Why? Because no one's listening to him still.
yeah.
Let me speak!
He's been shit in the Euros, hasn't he? There you go.
We don't talk about Euros on this channel, mate.
No, we don't. But let's be honest. I'll tell you what we do talk about. Wonderful midfielders. And this guy's obviously better than Kevin De Bruyne, even in his prime.
Now, Kieran Dewsbury Hall.
Yeah.
Dewsbury.
Kieran
Dewsbury Hall. He's a player that I like.
Not only because of his sock height. You're a big fan of the sock height.
Why, do you have him high?
I do. No. He has them low.
Oh, he's cool.
Yeah.
He's cool.
Yeah. He's got them fucking Grealish levels. That's how far down the old ankles he is.
I'm really excited to see this boy come into Chelsea Football Club.
Why?
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 Just you wait, my friend. Just you wait. Now listen, we've signed him for 30 million after he helped the Foxes secure automatic promotion, champions of the Championship at the first time of asking, 26 goal involvements in 44 league games for Leicester, which was broken down into 12 goals and 14 assists. Left-footed midfielder who usually will occupy the spaces on that left-hand side. And I was speaking about this with you earlier off camera, right? We were talking about the run of play of Chelsea last season and how most of it was coming down our right-hand side. Now, obviously, we had a player in Cucurella who was inverting a lot of the time, and he's never been like a Reece James / Ben Chilwell style fullback that really bombs up and provides goals and assists himself. Obviously, the other amount of time where he wasn't in the lineup, we often had Ben Chilwell over there. Ben Chilwell, probably even by his own admissions, had an underwhelming season. And then when you look ahead, okay, we had Conor Gallagher, who was a player that might sometimes play to that left-hand side of midfield, but would obviously be all about. And obviously, when you look at his heat maps, they were baffling sometimes. A lot of the time, the heat wasn't even in that area of the pitch that he had started the game in. And then you obviously had a player in Mykhailo Mudryk, who
just is the best player.
I'm guessing in your eyes did no wrong last season and can come under no fault. But what I'm saying is, it's no secret, is it, that the dangerous side for Chelsea was the right-hand side. You had Milo Gusto down there and bombing on over Cole Palmer, who, you know, absolutely lit the world up in the Premier League. So is it fair to say that we suffered a bit of imbalance this season due to that left-hand side?
I think that's fair to say, yeah.
Well, my friend, I have the answer to all of your problems. Because in Kieran Dewsbury Hall, I can't get that pronunciation.
Let's just say KDH.
KDH. In KDH, we have a man that is going to ease those worries of imbalance on that left-hand side. We have a man that's going to provide goals and assists from the left-hand side. And we have a man who the players around him are going to love. Because when you look at those 14 assists in the Championship last season, that's pretty good reading. Leicester's player of the season. He wasn't, however, Championship player of the season.
Was he not?
He wasn't Championship player of the season.
Really?
Somerville from Leeds United was Championship.
That's interesting, isn't it?
We'll have a little chat about Championship players of the season in a minute. Now, listen, you rebuffed a little bit. You showed a bit of hesitancy to get excited about KDH at first, when I first mentioned it. Are you honestly not excited about this player?
I think for me, right, it's funny because we used to hunt in, Champions League teams, didn't we? And we used to look at some of the most exciting young players from around the world. Even now in the modern era, we're looking at that, aren't we? We're looking at, Brazil and finding the best one against the next Neymars in Esteval and some other players, Kendry Páez coming in, who's playing for Ecuador when he was 15. And even then, we've not only regressed from signing, the Kovacic's of this world, players that were elite midfielders for Croatia, going very far in international tournaments, were really good. And now we're hunting in a very different hunting ground now, aren't we? We're looking at Championship players. And it's harsh to say that he's a Championship player because he went down with Leicester. Leicester probably shouldn't have gone down in that season, and he definitely was their best player by a country mile. He was their best player probably when he was playing in the Premier League for Leicester
He was their best player in that last season in the Premier League, albeit they went down. Yeah. But still, that was a Leicester team that, I get he was injured half the time, but it had James Maddison in it, it had Jamie Vardy in it, it had a few star names in that Leicester side, man. He was really good for them in the Premier League. So
he was, but I suppose my general point is that it's a very different level of signing. A 26-year-old coming in, doesn't really have a lot of England, age group caps, does he? Unless you tell me wrong.
Dewsbury Hall.
Dewsbury Hall, no.
No, as far as I know.
Don't think he's actually got any England selection caps either. No. Definitely not been in any England squads.
I'll tell you who else hadn't had many England caps though was probably Cole Palmer.
Cole Palmer is
he didn't have many Premier League goals.
How old is Cole Palmer?
Didn't have many Premier League goals to his name, Cole Palmer, either, did he?
How old is Cole Palmer?
Has Dewsbury Hall got any?
How old is he?
I am going to keep ignoring you until my point lands, okay?
Yeah.
I think Dewsbury Hall's a good player, mate. And I actually think, when you mentioned the 26, okay, let's go into it. I get where you're coming from here because ideally, if we signed someone that was 25, 26 years old, which by the way, we're advocates of.
I am definitely an advocate of.
I'm an advocate of it.
Especially this window when we're talking about 3 or 4 signings, I'd love them all to be that sort of age group.
Ideally, if we were to sign someone that was that age, and even if we were to spend 30 million, there's deals to be done. You can find players, much like a Conor Gallagher, who only has 1 year left of his contract. We could probably find a player who, around that 30, 40 million mark, might have a back catalogue of success behind him, may have won Champions Leagues or something like that, European competitions. Then again, we've just got rid of a few players that have done that. So it's sort of, it's a mixed bag when it comes to that. But one thing I do know is he has played in the Premier League. He's got, three seasons of Premier League football under his belt?
2 full seasons.
2 full seasons of Premier League football under his belt. Obviously, a really good spell at Leicester City. And we'll speak about how he fits into this team. But it's funny because we mentioned players that have won the Championship Player of the Season. And it could be an indication of where we're at as a football club right now. Yeah. So instead of, let's say, for example, right, one of the first things that Roman Abramovich, well, it wasn't one of the first, but it was early on in his reign, one of the things that he tried to do when he came to Chelsea was go out and sign Steven Gerrard. Yeah? So the equivalent to us doing that in this day and age, the equivalent to that would be maybe us trying to go and sign Kevin De Bruyne, maybe us trying to go and sign Haaland or whatever. But instead, we're taking Leicester's player of the season, okay? Now, is this an indication of where we're at? Because he didn't even win Championship Player of the Season. Yeah. And I'm going to read you out the last 10 winners of Championship Player of the Season.
Yeah, I've got no idea about these.
No?
Yeah.
Oh, we've got some names, my friend. Okay. We have got some names. I'm going to read you out the last 10, right? And you're just going to tell me at the end of that season when they won Championship Player of the Season, would Chelsea have gone and signed them?
Can I guess one?
You can guess one, yeah.
Out of all of these 10, I reckon Tammy Abraham might have won one of these. Is it not true?
No, mate.
In his time in Villa? Okay, right. Go on. Just go straight into it.
I'm sorry.
Because I was about to make a point saying Tammy Abraham to come back would be a good signing.
So, 2014, Danny Ings won Championship Player of the Season after him and Sam Vokes fired Burnley to the title. Deadly partnership, that was. Yeah. In 2014, would you have took either of Danny Ings or Sam Vokes at Chelsea? No. Bearing in mind, we had Diego Costa, didn't we?
I think you would have rated Danny Ings at the time. I reckon you would have been quite a big exponent.
Decent players on big wages at West Ham. Yeah. Okay, so we mentioned a former Chelsea striker winning Championship Player of the Season. In 2015, Patrick Bamford wins it after scoring 17 goals and 5 assists for Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
Would you have took him back at that point? No, you wouldn't have because we'd already got rid of him. So 2016 was Andre Gray after he scored 25 goals and 10 assists for Burnley. That's not bad going. Would you have took him?
No, I wouldn't have taken him. No.
Bloody hell.
I don't know if there are many Premier League teams at that time that would fancy him, really.
Harsh.
I don't think
but maybe fair. 2017, Anthony Knockaert won it for Brighton. Would you have took Knockaert?
Mate, do you know what? He's got some wonderful memories, Knockaert. Knockaert was the one that won the penalty for Leicester against Watford when Troy Deeney did the wonder header.
Unreal. That's probably one of the best moments in Championship history. Is it the best? It is the best.
Knockout was a big part of that.
Yeah, it was a good
Bottled
one.
it.
It was a good one. 2018, Ryan Sessegnon won it after he helped Fulham win the playoffs with 16 goals and 8 assists in a season where half the time he was playing at left back.
And now he's a free agent.
Yeah. Right, I'm gonna break the trend here. I'd have probably took him. He probably wouldn't have got a start at Stamford Bridge for love nor money, and we'd have probably released him or sold him on. But I'd have still probably took him.
I understand why as well, because I feel like at that time he probably would have been able to be sold for a high value. But you say that now, look at his career, it's disintegrated.
I'll give you a little fun fact about Ryan Sessegnon, right? We're filming right now from Podcast Room, by the way, that is linked in the description to this video. We're filming in Barnes, a stone's throw from Roehampton. Where's Ryan Sessegnon from?
Roehampton.
There you go.
Really?
There you go. 2019, Timu Pukki.
I thought you were about to say Timo Werner.
He would win Championship Player of the Season. 29 goals, 10 assists for Norwich that season. I wouldn't have took him. Would you have took him?
I wouldn't have taken him, but I think a lot of people really rated him in that year. He was quite good for Norwich.
Yeah, in the Championship.
Didn't really do it in the Prem, did he?
Norwich didn't really do it in the Prem, but, don't tell that to Delia. 2020, we got a good one here. An Englishman. He won it, or won Championship Player of the Season while playing for Brentford, where he scored 26 goals in the league, and that man is...
Ivan Toney.
Knew you were going to go Tony. Ollie Watkins.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, would you have took him?
Wow. Yes, I think you probably would have taken him
off the back of the Brentford season, yeah?
Yeah, I think you probably would. You could have got him for a cheap price from Brentford.
2021, this is someone, but bearing in mind, we're going on we're going without hindsight here. We're going on at the time, would you have took him?
Yeah.
At the time, I'd have took this man, because I thought he was really, really good. I was seeing him do some good things in the Championship. 2021, it was Buendia for Norwich, who was actually... that year, one of the most creative players in England, by the way.
Yeah.
He scored 15 goals and got 16 assists.
Got an injury, didn't he, recently, Buendia? He's not been the same since. But he was quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, very creative
I've
player.
never been the same since my injury.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, stubbed my toe. It was bad. it was real bad. 2022, it was Mitrovic who scored 135 goals in 44 games for Fulham when they came up. Would you
135, did you say?
I think that's what I got written down, 135 goals in 44 games, yeah. It's about that, isn't it?
Don't know how that works.
No, but he did score a shitload of goals that season, didn't he? He scored a lot of goals.
What a player.
We could have had them going there. I would have got it. I would have got one on the net there. He didn't score 135 goals. Just made me throw my dinner at the wall.
He's doing it in the Euros. Well, he was.
Oh, let's not talk about that.
Yeah. I liked Mitrovic.
Yeah.
I really did.
Wow.
We needed a big striker. I
Strong,
wouldn't have taken him, though.
Big, strong man up front.
Yeah.
Would he have scored goals for Chelsea?
Probably, yeah.
Would you have took him after that season?
When did Giroud leave? Is it about that time?
Yeah. Giroud left before the Champions League final. That was 2021. So this is 2022.
Well then, replace Giroud.
So actually, it would have been replacing Havertz with Mitrovic. You'd have done that, wouldn't you?
I would have absolutely
I'd have done that. I'd have done that. I think Arsenal would do that right now, wouldn't they? So, 2023, it was Chuba Akpom with 28 goals for Borough before he got himself a big move to a big club.
Yeah.
To play alongside Jordan Henderson, Ajax.
Yeah. Probably wouldn't have taken him.
I probably wouldn't have taken him either. And then Somerville, would you have him this season?
I think, Chelsea are in for him, aren't they? Chelsea are in for him. We've got some good relations with Leeds.
I ain't. I hate him. Anyway.
I would take him, by the way.
You would?
Yeah, I would take him, yeah.
Okay.
He's got a lot of potential. Football manager boys will know it.
Yeah. The football manager lads in the chat. Yeah. Maybe the point we're making here is that times have changed at Chelsea and now we're shopping in a different market to what we were shopping in before. But for every player on that list, like let's say, for example, a Timu Pukki or an Anthony Knockaert or someone like that, there are players like Gareth Bell, John Stones, Kyle Walker, Aaron Ramsey. Can you think of any more that signed for Premier League clubs? Harry Maguire. Probably.
They got promoted, didn't they? I think.
Anyway, I'm saying there are good players that came out of the Championship. So we're not saying that just because the KDH was in the Championship that he's not going to be a great player. Honestly, mate, I don't think we signed him without the intention to start him.
Did you hear the rumours that we were potentially looking at him last summer as well, by the way.
I've heard rumours.
Yeah, so this
Dewsbury
might
Hall.
not have been, just a sort of this summer window. We've been scouting him for quite a long time. I think, look, there's no reason to sort of be sort of like looking at the Championship too heavily here to say he's a Championship player. He isn't necessarily. He's come through Leicester. Leicester were a Premier League team. He's come through their academy. He's played in the Premier League and in the Championship. So I think it is hard to sort of denigrate him.
Entering his peak now as a
should
footballer,
be.
not only physically, but mentally. Like when you've, and would he have been around that title winning team? He wouldn't have played at all, I know that, but would
He
he have
definitely
been...
was in the academy at that time.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah.
He has experienced the Premier League title win, whether he's got a winner's medal or not. We're an advocate for keeping Cobham boys a lot of the time, and the reason being why, because they came from a more successful time, or they were there during a more successful period, and then they've benefited from that experience-wise. So I think that's going to help us going in his favour. He's obviously already played under Maresca, and we are envisioning that Maresca is going to come in and play similar sort of tactics to what he played at Leicester City. So to have someone that was literally his most important player in playing those tactics, his best player in the Championship last season, that's not going to hurt.
So the question I've got from you, though, for you now, in the areas that we needed this summer, we were talking about, what were we chatting about? Were we saying probably a left-back, maybe a striker?
Not for me, we've got Kukura.
There you go. But maybe a backup to Kukura?
I don't think he needs backup.
We were talking about maybe a winger. The last position that we were looking at really to strengthen was centre mid, was it not?
Yeah, it probably was. But when you look at Enzo Maresca, typically, I know that positions and formations will change depending on what's going on in the game, but he's typically playing free in that midfield, not two pivots with, an attacking midfielder. He's typically playing free in that area, right? Yeah. And if he's going to play that, maybe that lessens the urgency to get a left winger in, because I think we need a left winger. However, I think that Nicholas Nkunku could come in next season and make that position his own. I don't think that's beyond the realms of
possibility. I love how you combined two players there, Nicholas Nkunku as well.
What did I say? I said Christopher, didn't I?
No, you said Nicholas Nkunku. So we've got Nicholas Jackson and Christopher Nkunku have a baby together. Nicholas Nkunku would be a very good player. Do
you know what, mate? I thought this day was going to come where I had to have this sort of chat with you. Nicholas Jackson and Christopher Nkunku wouldn't biologically be able to have a baby together. Okay. Now I know you're.
Have you not heard about IVF,
Josh,
mate?
I know you're a bit woke, mate.
Yeah.
Okay. I know you're a little bit woke, but I'm just saying, in my world, that doesn't work.
But biologically, it can work, Joey. It's all to do with science. Half the DNA.
Okay, well. I identify as a man that you've just bought lunch for, so why don't you get on the old Uber Eats and get me some food? No, seriously though, if we're looking at the pros, I think we've just listed a few of them there. If we're looking at the cons for this player, at 26, like we were saying, or he will be 26 by a couple of games into the season.
We'll call him 26.
We'll call him 26. Yeah. I'll give you a slight con to the Dewsbury Hall deal, and that is that...
I'm surprised you've got it.
I'm high on KDH, but it does look like then potentially one of our midfielders is going to be leaving, because if you take into account no more midfield signings, that means we've got central defensive midfielders, per se.
Yeah.
We go Caicedo, Lavia, Ugochukwu.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then, obviously, you've got Enzo, Gallagher, Cassidy, Kieran Dewsbury Hall,
Carney
Chukwuemeka. That's a big one, and that's someone we're going to speak about.
Yeah.
And Andre Santos. 9
players. And I think...
Is that 9?
Yeah, that was 9 there.
Isn't it?
And I think also you've got to consider whether Palmer in this system might end up going over to centre mid as well.
I don't think he will.
And then also you've got to factor in that Kendry Pies, who's coming in next summer, will also want to be playing in central areas primarily.
Yeah, but that's next summer. So don't worry about Kendry Pies.
Don't worry about
and
next
also
summer.
Don't worry about Cole Palmer, because Cole Palmer is going to be
on the right
way further forward, probably on the right hand side. I would imagine next season. But out of those names there, would you say that 9 midfielders is too much to sort of go into next season with? Because there's two ways of looking at it. You could look at it, you could go, well, our injury record has been appalling. Okay, it has been bad, and also we're going to have way more games, way more opportunities to get injured. Shouldn't say that, touch wood. Or you could look at it and go, if by some sort of miracle the injury table stays perfectly made this season and no one's hopping up on that injury table, you're going to have some disgruntled players. The likes of Romeo Lavia, not necessarily, in my opinion, competition for Kieran Dewsbury Hall, but he's going to be upset if he's not playing. Gallagher if he's pledged his allegiance to Chelsea and, signs a new contract for whatever reason, doesn't play, he's probably going to be upset. Kane Chukwuemeka, when he got a 20-odd million pound move from Aston Villa to Chelsea and then came in and played really well, he's going to be upset if he's not playing. Not to mention the likes of Casadei, Santos, Ugachukwu, who could go out on loans, but they could well be here. Do you think we're going to have to cut players from that midfield because of the signing of Kieran Dewsbury Hall?
I think we're going to have to. I think the maximum they're going to have, bearing in mind it's 2 players per position usually you go for. I think the maximum we're going to have is 7. So that means that 2 players are going to have to go. I do think this signing means the end for Conor Gallagher. I think it is that simple. I think we were discussing it, whether it was like when Lavia came in, we were discussing should that be the one that replaces Gallagher.
Do you not think there's way more chance now that this isn't the end for Conor Gallagher? Because obviously the PSR was a big factor. PSR, by the way, that Leicester are now apparently, fine with. They're not going to have any sort of points deduction because of the fee that they've received. Yeah. Could be something fishy going on there as soon as we've just took their manager and have a little bit of a relationship with Leicester. But let's not get bogged down in all of that. The PSR factor means that the Conor Gallagher sale isn't imminent, potentially, and it maybe isn't a priority. Can you tell me any reason why it would be still?
We got lucky, I suppose, with the hotel sales, which meant we were compliant for the last round of
hotel
PSL.
Sales?
Yeah. Well, a hotel is a player that we've sold for £80 million.
Right.
So he was a great player. Thank you for his service.
Gutted, because I love them hotels.
Yeah,
who, out of interest, who do we sell them to?
Yeah, well, ourselves.
Oh.
Yeah, Blueco.
Oh, well, that's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right.
It wasn't Hilton. It wasn't, all of those guys. Yeah. It was just Bluco.
Yeah.
Oh, what a shame. So, yeah, the pressure is off slightly. We still do need to bring in money for the next accountancy window, especially considering, mate, we are spending a bit of money on a few players coming up. Obviously, we've just signed this magical wonder kid, Dewsbury Hall, who, we think is very good. Still pretty old. Kellerman we've signed for a decent amount of money.
Well, we'll cover all of that in a separate video going out tomorrow, won't we?
Wait a second.
Separate video?
Stop it.
2 for the price of 1.
You need to calm down. You need to stop working so hard. You're ridiculous.
Look at the sweat patches. That's the sweat patches of a man that works hard, my friend.
So
let's do it then. Let's scrap 2 names from that list. I'm going to tell you straight away.
Go on, who you put in?
I think, to be honest, when you look at the defensive midfielders and you think Romeo Lavia is coming for big money, right? And he's gonna need to at least have an opportunity. He's not going anywhere, and I'm really, really looking forward to Lavia next season. Me too. So then you look at Ugachukwu and you look at it and you think, okay, Caicedo's injury record was fairly favourable this season. Romeo Lavia surely can't have as bad an injury-ridden season as this one. Are his minutes going to be all that appealing for him? You also look at the fact that we still don't know, and we've done a whole video on this, and I know because I got a lot of stick, we don't know where Enzo Fernandez is going to play under Enzo Maresca. Who's to say he won't be playing deep without the sort of defensively minded hat there, and maybe from a more, vision-wise creativity? So I think Ugachukwu is a sensible one. I'm not going to take and I'm not accusing you of doing this, mate, but I'm not going to take the easy option and say that, Conor Gallagher, he's going to be one that goes, because I hope that he stays. I really do hope that he stays. So then I look at it and I go, okay, it's realistically out of Casadei, Chukwuemeka, Andre Santos. I'm not going to be naive enough to think that because Andre Santos didn't get a game at Nottingham Forest, he's not Premier League quality, because we've seen players that have been Premier League quality, maybe Kevin De Bruyne, who couldn't get a game at a previous club, then went in to become a Premier League legend. So that one still hurts.
And all the briefings of the club, by the way, are saying that Santos is going to be involved in pre-season and potentially for the first team as well. So,
and you're telling me he's not a defensive midfielder?
He's. I think he was more of a pivot player under Pochettino in the double pivot, but in this system, I could see him bombing on and getting a bit further forwards.
And am I jumping to conclusions here, or would it be right to say that you think the ceiling and the bar is higher for Andre Santos than you do for Cesar Casadei?
Different types of players.
No,
but
hold on.
yes.
Hold on. Can we just go back there? That was
Cesare.
That was good.
That was very good.
That is getting better.
You are practicing the pronunciations. What you don't know, guys, is that Joey sits in front of his mirror every night and he just says Cesare Casadei over and over again.
Yeah.
And hoping that he appears in front of you.
Have you heard? Apparently, if you're at like a girl's sleepover and you go into the bathroom and you say Cesar Casadei 5 times,
you have to light candles as well.
Yeah,
light the candles, get the ambience right, make sure the lights are down low.
Yeah, if you say it 5 times in the mirror,
what happens?
He appears. There you go. Apparently, he's made more appearances at sleepovers than he had for Chelsea last season. So,
what a worrying state of affairs.
Not to throw any accusations about. Look, mate, I'm going to put it out there. I've got real high hopes for Carney Chukwuemeka. I think against Kieran Dewsbury Hall's former side in Leicester, you saw a glimpse of just how good Carney Chukwuemeka can be.
How do you feel about these rumours then? How do you feel about the rumours with AC Milan? Apparently
I'd be
bid.
I'd be gutted.
Yeah.
I'd be gutted. And they need to fuck off, to be honest. Unless we need them lot for financial fair play reasons, I don't want to hear about AC Milan because they just want to come in and take all our boys.
I've got one for you.
Carney Chukwuemeka is Chelsea through and through.
I've got one for you. Would you swap Carney for Ruben?
No, I actually wouldn't.
You thought about it.
I had to have a little think about it, but I've got real high hopes for Carney.
Me too.
I really, really think he's a decent player, and I think that he can cut the grade at as top a level as we can offer him.
My simple thing, I think this summer, and this is my little prediction that I think will happen, if Gallagher signs the new deal with a release clause, which is what will happen, Carney will be sold to AC Milan.
Yeah, that's gutting though. That really is gutting.
So if it's that choice, who would you choose?
What?
If you had to sell one of Carney or Connor, who would you sell? You know the answer, and you just don't want to say it.
What?
The answer is Connor.
Conor Gallagher.
Yeah. I think
I might sell Conor Gallagher over Carney Chukwuemeka.
Yeah. You get more money for him.
Yeah.
You get more profit for him. And I think Carney's got a higher ceiling.
So we are in agreement that the signing of Kieran Dewsbury Hall spells the end for one of, if not both, Conor Gallagher and Carney Chukwuemeka.
Yeah, one of them, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's and then I think I agree with you. I don't think it will be Ugo Chukwu, although I agree with you. I don't know how he fits into the defensive midfield. I do think Castay might be sold permanently, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we've got to somewhat let go of the expectations that all these boys are going to become Chelsea legends and they're all going to do it for us. They're all going to play to a high standard under us, and just be realistic in the fact that ultimately we might not see that with a lot of these guys. We may never see Angelo run out for Chelsea. We may never see Moreira run out for Chelsea. Santos, Casaday, you know, we might not see them have prolonged Chelsea careers, but we might make a little bit of money off them in the meantime. But I am definitive in this statement. Kieran Dewsbury Hall will play more games than he doesn't play next season for Chelsea. Yeah. I think that he'll probably start on the opening day against Man City. Is that mad?
I don't think it is mad. And considering how many games he missed last season, do you know the answer to this question? He only missed 2 games the entirety of last season.
Do you know what I've heard about the best availability? Isn't it?
Best ability.
What did I say?
Best availability. Best availability is ability. I've heard
the best availability.
Yeah.
Is
ability.
Oh, for fuck's sake! I fucked it again. Listen,
just say availability is ability.
Availability, right? Can't do it. No, but seriously, there's only one concern for me, and that is that at times we were arguing, does Conor Gallagher maybe in that midfield 3 where you've got Gallagher, Caicedo and Enzo, is Gallagher the one that having him there takes something away from your creativity, right?
Yeah.
And I could argue that having KDH there is going to add to the creativity. Oh, God, it's going to add to it. I do think it's going to. 14 assists or 16 assists, whatever it was, last season in the Championship. I think you can't really argue that
Can I counter that?
Yeah.
In his Premier League season that he did get relegated in.
No, he's too young. He was too young.
In the season they got relegated in, who got more assists? Conor Gallagher last year or Dewsbury Hall in the season that he got relegated?
Dewsbury Hall.
No, Conor Gallagher did. More goal contributions. Now, Conor Gallagher is playing in a highly functional, brilliant Chelsea team, wasn't he? Oh, no, he wasn't actually. He was playing in a pretty shit Chelsea team. So...
not a Chelsea team that got relegated, though.
Yeah, fair enough. But a pretty average, bang average one. And Conor didn't miss any of the games either.
Okay, so you've answered that. Honest opinion, if Kieran Dewsbury Hall had have played every minute for Chelsea last season that Conor Gallagher played, who gets more assists?
I don't think you can answer that question confidently.
Come on, mate.
I don't think you can answer that question confidently.
You know the score.
What I find so interesting is that a lot of Chelsea fans are so confident that Conor Gallagher is still good and worth a new contract, and yet we still think that Dewsbury Hall is better than him. So, like, this guy's in the England squad.
I'm not saying Kieran Dewsbury Hall is better than Conor Gallagher, but what I am saying is I think he offers us a dimension that Conor Gallagher possibly doesn't.
I agree with
and
that.
for me, despite, listen, I can bang the drum time in, time out on this channel and say I love Conor Gallagher, but ultimately Conor Gallagher's going. And Dewsbury Hall is coming. And I think in Kieran Dewsbury Hall, we've made an astute signing there. I think he'll get a lot of assists for us next season, possibly a few goals. And I think the boys up top are going to love him. I think the link-up play there is going to be very, very good. So I'm excited to see him under Enzo Maresca. Should we finish this video off and bang out a little Chelsea transfer news video for them that they can receive tomorrow?
What do you reckon they'll want that?
I think they'll absolutely love that. I'll tell you what else they'll absolutely love. And that is your channel, my friend. And what are we going to do today?
We're going to do a video together for the first time on my channel. I can't believe that.
Is that the first time I've appeared on your channel?
The honour of you on my channel, yeah.
Oh, that is unreal. That is unreal. Now, let's talk fee.
Yeah, we'll talk fee after.
My booking fee, obviously.
Yeah, it's £1.50 for anyone asking. Feel free to email us.
Per word that I say. People, thanks for making it around to the end of another video. If you haven't already, smash the like button, hit the subscribe if you are not already, and I will see you all in the next one.